bugs come out of hibernation and harass you for passing by a pretty bush, and the bush is waging war upon your immune system by giving you tons of allergies? What isn't there to like about spring? So in the spirit of the season, let's build a cute spring-themed Pokemon team. I min-max cuteness in my Pokemon teams, not stats. Because sometimes you just want to embrace aesthetics. So let's start with a Pokemon I would say is almost a requirement for a seasonal theme, which is Deerling. This Gen 5 Pokemon has 4 unique forms, one for each of the seasons. And I don't think I'm alone when I say the spring variant is absolutely peak. The bubblegum pink shade complements the creamy honey colors to perfection. And the cute little yellow accents just scream springtime vibes. Also, fun fact, despite Deerling's visual theme changing throughout the season, it's always a grass and normal type. Also, a small shout out to its evolution, Swasbuck, which has a spring form that features really cute cherry blossom blooms on its horn. They are very charming, but I like small Pokemon, so we'll be sticking with Deerling. Going into our second slot for our spring-themed team is Mareep. This little cotton ball of a Pokemon is of course sheep-themed, and an animal that's pretty closely associated with spring. The pastel colors make me think of it as like a giant Peep. Like, I want to hug Mareep, but I also kind of want to eat the cotton candy. Speaking of cotton candy, I think Fluffy could be a really good substitute here, and is a very underrated Pokemon in my opinion, because it gets so overshadowed by Mareep. I really like how cute and pastel its color palette is, and I think it's actually a pretty tight race between Mareep and Fluffy for this spot, at least for me. Of course, there is another substitute we could put here, which is Wooloo, which is another sheep Pokemon that I absolutely love, but since we're going for aesthetics, I just think Mareep and Fluffy fit better here for the spring theme. The third Pokemon for my spring team is an Eeveelution, but it might not be the one you're thinking of. This spot goes to Espeon. It might not be the most obvious fit, but earlier this spring, Pokemon Center released an Easter Pokemon set, which featured Pokemon and little Easter bonnets. It was so cute. Despite there being several very cute Pokemon in the lineup, something about Espeon really caught the attention of fans. In fact, the plushie was so popular, it immediately sold out. There was even fan art all over Twitter of Espeon dressed up for the occasion. And of course, our substitute for this spot is gonna be Sylveon. Its cute little ribbon aesthetic blowing in the wind, and it just reminds me of decoration you'd put out in your garden. However, I ultimately went with Espeon for both a little bit more color variety and to give the props it deserves as being the official Eeveelution plushie ambassador for this year's spring line. The fourth Pokemon on our list is Shaman's Landform. This mythical Pokemon looks like it would blend right into a beautiful field of spring flowers. In fact, in its Brilliant Diamond Pokedex entry, it says that it's often just mistaken for a little flowering bush when it's all curled up, because it's a hedgehog. It's so cute. I know we already have a grass Pokemon in the lineup, but as I said, we are min-maxing cuteness. Another similar Pokemon that you could swap out for Shaman would be Cherrium's Sunshine form. We're going to stick with Shaman though because of the bright green tones that bring a fresh spring foliage feel to our team's lineup. Number 5 is Butterfree, a classic Pokemon from Gen 1 that has a pastel color palette that fits in with the other picks. Well, bugs coming out in the spring are one of my least favorite things about the season. Butterflies are, of course, the exception to the rule. And yes, I will absolutely discriminate my tolerance of bugs based on their cuteness level. I love seeing butterflies flutter into my flower beds. And with Pokemon like Shaman and Deerling on our team, which have built-in flowers, the thought of them interacting together was just so sweet. I had to add a butterfly. That being said, any butterfly Pokemon could probably be substituted here. I just grew up with Gen 1, and Butterfree has a really special place in my heart. You guys know the episode, right? And for our final member of our spring aesthetic team, it's Castform's rainy form. I picked this one specifically because spring showers. Yep, and it's cute. And it'll look cute on the team. And we need a Pokemon that's blue. I'll be honest with you. I don't need to justify it. I just think it's cute and I want to put it on the team. So I think Castform will be the perfect way to round out our spring Pokemon team. To be honest with you, there's a lot of Pokemon that could fit on this team. So let me know what your perfect spring team would be in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and come back next week for another video.